Hi boys and girls, it's Miss Rossi. Today we are going outside to search for some items we can use to make art in nature. Let's get started. Today we are making art inspired by artist Andy Goldsworthy. He is a British sculptor and photographer, most known for his sculptures that he makes in nature using items he finds in nature. Now, something special about Andy Goldsworthy's work is he's collecting things that already exist out in nature and arranging them to create his sculpture. He is not taking flowers off of their stems or pulling leaves off trees. He's collecting things that have already fallen and arranging them to create a sculpture. So what we're going to do is walk around my backyard today, and I'm going to look for different things I can collect and use in a sculpture. Now, his sculptures are usually arrangements of objects, whether it's mud or rocks or ice or twigs, where they're creating some type of natural pattern using the colors or the shape of the branches. He focuses on things like line and shape to create an arrangement that looks nice in nature. So what I'm going to do is walk around my yard and collect things to make a sculpture. So these things are going to be rocks or leaves that have fallen off the trees or flower petals that have already fallen down. And I'm going to collect those things so I can make my sculpture. Alright, so I started to collect these rocks, and now I'm going to try and arrange them in some type of sculpture. And I'm going to create a big spiral with my rocks here. I tried to collect a bunch of white rocks that I could use to make my spiral, and this reminds me of one specific work of Andy Goldsworthy's that looks like this. I'm going to try and make my own version of it. So let's start arranging these rocks. I'm going to try and do smallest to biggest. So I'm going to take out some of my small rocks. I'm going to try and arrange them in a big spiral shape. The cool thing about Andy Goldsworthy's work is that since he is making it from things in nature and he's leaving his sculptures in nature, once he is finished, he takes a photograph. And then as time carries on and as the weather changes, his sculptures begin to change, where that if he's making it out of ice, it's going to start to melt. If he is making it out of mud, that mud might start to fall apart. So his sculptures are temporary, meaning that they're not going to last very long. Since he's making them in nature, they are temporary, but also a lot of people don't get to see them unless he takes a photograph of it. Some people are lucky where if they're walking past the sculpture, they might get to see it in real life, but most of the time his work is only seen in photographs that he takes once he finishes creating it. So I have the start of my spiral happening, which looks nice. And I'm going to let my spiral get bigger and bigger by adding more rocks as it's going. Now your sculpture can look like whatever you want it to look like. You can use whatever materials you have that you can find and arrange them in whatever way you would like. So I'm going to keep adding my rocks to my spiral and making it bigger and bigger so it can go all the way around. So that's going to be my first sculpture all finished. I collected a bunch of little white rocks. It's not very big, it's about the size of my hand, but I created a nice spiral shape arranging my rocks together to make that little sculpture. And as the sun is moving and time is changing, it's going to look different as the sunlight hits it and as different shadows hit it. So I think it's going to look really nice. I'm going to take a picture and I'm going to leave it here and find some more materials I can use to make another sculpture. Alright, so I collected a bunch of yellow leaves that I found that had fallen out of a tree. And I think I'm going to try and arrange those, maybe using their colors to create another little sculpture. First thing I'm going to do is lay out my leaves so I can see what colors I have. And I'm going to arrange the ones that are the same colors together. So I think what I'm going to do is start with my green leaf. This one is the most green. I think I'm going to place that one in the grass to start, and I'm going to build the rest of my sculpture around that. I think I'm going to do some circles going around this leaf in the other colors, or maybe I'm just going to let them fan out because I might not have enough for circles. Ooh, I think, okay, we're just going to work with it. Let's see what we can make. It can be anything. I want to go and look for some more green leaves. See if I can make the top part of my sculpture bigger. So this is where I found all those leaves. Let's see if we can find any that are nice and green. There we go. Got a winner. Alright, so now I have these leaves that I can add. I'm going to keep the more brown, dark ones towards the bottom. Look at that. So I made my own colorful leaf sculpture using colorful leaves that I found fallen from a tree in my backyard. So I'm going to take a picture of this one that I could also keep forever. So when the wind comes, I'll still be able to remember this beautiful sculpture I made in my backyard, inspired by Andy Goldsworthy. So I made 2 sculptures outside today, inspired by Andy Goldsworthy. You only need to make one and photograph it if you want to use this as your piece for our virtual art show. So these are the 2 photographs that I took. so you can see what kind of photograph you should be taking. You want your sculpture to be very visible in your photograph. You want to show your sculpture from the best angle. For both of my photos, I took it just looking from the top down since my sculptures were mostly flat. I could have also taken my picture from the side like this, but I thought from looking straight down at it, you got the best view, so that's how I took my picture. So you want to think about that as you are creating your sculpture and as you are photographing it to upload for our virtual art show. Once you are finished making your sculpture and you've taken a photograph that you think represents it well, be sure to add it to our Padlet. The link is on your remote learning page or on my Canvas page along with this video, so you can click that link and upload your photo directly to the Padlet if you want to include this project as your virtual art show piece. Have fun exploring outside to collect materials. Get creative, try your best. I can't wait to see the sculptures that you create. Bye!